All right, what's going on, YouTube? We in here for another one. I feel like I got to get something out of the way real quick before we go ahead and get into this commentary. The disrespect that I'm seeing out here on these Call of Duty streets, on these socials for Black Ops 3 is straight criminal. I get it. I'm in full agreement that the campaign in that game was ass. It was complete and total ass. Nobody can disagree with that. The campaign sucked. The boost jumps sucked. And the way they did supply drop weapons in that game, the way they handled the supply drops, I guess you could say, all together. Yeah, all that shit was buns, man. The rest of the game, though, was solid. The amount of content you had, the zombies was great. I mean, the way they implemented the specials in that game, in my opinion, was the best way they ever had it in any game that had them. You know, Black Ops 3 was a good... Everybody out here hating, y'all need to put some respect on that Black Ops 3 name. I'm telling you, that's why you guys have heard me say this in a bunch of videos at this point, that like, I wish I didn't procrastinate back in the day, man. Back when we had Call of Duties that I thought were good. You know, I started making commentaries a little over halfway through Black Ops 4 life cycle, so I've never really got a chance to cover a Call of Duty on this channel that I straight up loved from start to finish, from launch and even after that. I've never been in that position where we had what I thought was a truly great Call of Duty. And I think Black Ops 3 was that last true great one from start to finish. World War II, I really enjoyed that game, but I enjoyed it a hell of a lot more after the overhaul. And there's things about these other games that I like, but just let's be real here, man. There's way more negative with these new games than positives, man. And you could see it. You could see that Activision don't care, and a lot of these developers don't care. And like you guys have heard me say in a bunch of videos at this point, man, Taraq is the only developer at this point, at this juncture, that I remotely trust. We're gonna see what they do with their Call of Duty in 2024. But I got recommended a post earlier today on Twitter, and it's from somebody who I'm not following. I believe her name is Mina Mendez. I'm not currently looking at it. I'm not even recording over any gameplay right now. I'm going to go ahead and add all this stuff in afterwards for you guys before I upload it. But I'm pretty sure the post is actually from gamingbible.com. And if you read the article, it goes on to reference a poll taken from Modern Warzone. Now, I would have never known about this because Modern Warzone is just somebody that I don't follow, dude. Like, I think I even have him muted on Twitter at this juncture because the dude is just, I can't with that dude, man. I just, you know, like, compare like him or Hutch, man. Like, you know, basically like the same type of people, man. I don't know much about him. All I know is just, I'm not really interested, man. That dude is, yeah, you know, I mean, Charlie Intel isn't even that nice to Call of Duty. Like, we'll just put it that way, right? But apparently he's been critical of Warzone 2, and he put up a poll asking people, and there was a lot of people who voted on this poll asking them if they're still on Warzone 2. And apparently 80% of diehard Warzone players have straight up walked away from Warzone 2. Now, obviously, this is just a poll. We can't take it too literal, right? There might be people pissed off with the game or whatever. They're in a bad mood, so they just voted that they walked away from it. And it is just a poll at the end of the day, but still, 80% though, that's no joke, man. That is no joke number, 80%. That's actually pretty ridiculous, man. And I know some people are going to say, well, good, if Warzone is dying, they'll put their efforts back into multiplayer. And I don't think that's the case for Call of Duty anymore, man. I think if Warzone is healthy, then it will rub off into the multiplayer. And believe me, that's what we're seeing, right? So I think if Warzone completely dies out, I think the multiplayer gets even worse. I know that's like really hard to imagine right now, but I think if Warzone is absolutely dead, the multiplayer completely dies with it too, man. I don't think multiplayer is on Activision's radar anymore, man. They'll make like some cheap half-ass campaign, throw a few maps together for 6v6. They don't give a shit about the perk balance or nothing else. They'll make some stupid changes that nobody ever asked for and pump that out for full price, and people will buy it. That's the problem. We don't live in a world anymore where Call of Duty survives if Warzone is dead. As long as Activision's there, I don't think that's the case anymore, man. Like, that is really hard to believe, though, isn't it? With the lack of support multiplayer's been getting since Warzone has been here, and Warzone was really healthy when it first dropped during the pandemic and everything, and we've seen the lack of support from multiplayer back then too. But I think that's where we're at with this, man. It's kind of something that goes hand in hand. Like, all their focus goes to Warzone, and if it's nice and healthy and it's making them lots of money, well, then yeah, you'll get a little bit for multiplayer. And I mean, look, we see the way it is now in Modern Warfare dudes, man. They don't give a hot shit about multiplayer, and it's like, so what do we do, right? I see people all the time in my comment section, right? And they're always talking about boycotting the game, or they don't care about it. I don't know. They don't care about the game. They hate the game, but they still watch videos on it on YouTube, which is, I always thought was kind of funny. See, like, I think that's the worst place you could get to, is where you just straight up don't care. Because when you don't care, it's whatever, right? At that point, like, there's games that I played. Like, I'll give you a quick example. A few months back, I played that game Scorn on Xbox Game Pass, and I played it for, I don't know, like a half hour or something like that. And I was like, all right, man, I'm good. I've seen everything that I need to see. I'm out, man. That's it. Like, I don't care if that game, I don't care if it's a success. I don't care if it fails. Like, I just don't care about it, man. And I think that's like the worst place that you could get to if you love this franchise at any point in time. See, I'm still in that mindset, man, where I loved Call of Duty so much, right? Like, it was like my drug. You know what I mean? Like, I don't take any drugs, but Call of Duty was my crack back in the day. You know what I mean? I had to have that shit. And the formula is still there. It still has that potential to be that again, man. It's got the silky smooth gunplay. It's got the potential for the gameplay. Like, it is still there, man. If we could just dig through all this crap and get Activision to stop being so fucking stubborn, or hopefully Xbox takes over and they actually listen to the community. But, you know, I see all these comments from people, and it's, you know, I respect everybody's opinion, but it's just, like, how do we as a community, how do we as customers go about fixing this game? And I think just absolutely giving up on it. If you actually care about Call of Duty resurrecting multiplayer, getting it back to the greatness that we used to see back there in 2007 and 2010 and 2012 and shit, if we want to get back to that point, man, giving up and not talking about it at all, not giving it any attention, depriving it of oxygen, I don't think it's the way, man. I get it. I'm at that point with Modern Warfare dudes. I got to that point with Vanguard as well, too, where I don't care about those games. I don't care about Modern Warfare dudes, right? It's whatever at this point, man. I chalk it up as a loss, right? I paid money for the game. I lost that money for the game. It's a game that I don't enjoy all that much, but, you know, whatever. I still make content on it, and this is where I'm at with it now. But, you know, I kind of just chalked it up as a loss, right? It's a game that I don't care about anymore, but I still care about the franchise, though. I want to get another Black Ops 2, man. I want to get a game like that, man. I want to get a game like OG MW2, man. Give me that rush, that adrenaline that I felt back in the day. Like I said, hooked on crack, man. You couldn't wait to get on that fucking game and just have a blast, man. And whatever free time you had, man, you were on there with the fellas. You're on there with the homies. You're on there with your people, just having a blast on Call of Duty. And everybody you knew was on that game having fun, man. Everybody was playing Call of Duty. It's like, I would love to get back to that point, man. I know I'm kind of living in the past, but, dude, no other game. There's other games that I enjoy a lot. Loved The Last of Us Part 1. Loved Destiny 1. I liked Destiny 2 at certain points. Not so much anymore. I love Borderlands and shit, but none of these games gave me or give me what Call of Duty did in the past, man. That pure adrenaline rush, that fix, like you're a fucking drug addict, like you're a junkie. There's no other game that gives me that, man, like Call of Duty did back in the day. As much as I love Battlefield, it doesn't give me that same, you know what I mean, like Call of Duty used to back in the day. And I hear all these people out, man, that are talking about boycotting the game. And I get where they're coming from. I totally understand where you're coming from. The problem with a boycott is there's too many casuals out here that don't watch YouTube videos like we all do. They're not involved with the community like all of us are. They're still going to buy the game. They don't give a shit. A new Call of Duty's out. They're going to buy it. That's it. It's the game that they know. It's the game that they play, the franchise that they're comfortable with. They're going to buy it, man. Activision is not going to notice our lack of sales to actually do anything about the franchise. It's not going to give them that wake-up call that you guys think it's going to do, man. Like, we could boycott this shit until we're blue in the motherfucking face, and Activision is not even going to notice it, dude. It's going to be a drop in the bucket to them. That's the problem with a boycott right now. If I knew that we could potentially have the numbers to put some fear into Activision, I'd be like, yeah, man, all right, like, we're on to something with that. But that's the problem, man. There's too many casuals out there that are still going to buy the game. Activision won't even notice a boycott. So it's like, what can we do, man? Do we keep complaining and keep crying into the void like we've been doing? Well, it has worked with things in the past, though. Like, if you remember back in Modern Warfare 2, OG Modern Warfare 2, the explosions were crazy. People complained about it. And we didn't see craziness with explosions in Black Ops 1. In Black Ops 1, everybody was complaining about Second Chance and Ghost being ridiculous and overpowered and shit, and they fixed that for Black Ops 2. A lot of people cried about death streaks, and we don't see them in Call of Duty anymore. I think, like, complaining about it does get annoying, and it definitely feels like it's a lost cause at certain points. I absolutely agree, man. It's like I said before, you're crying into the void, but it definitely has its purpose, man, and has done some good in the past, especially with channels that are that big and they have that type of influence. Complaining about shit can get shit fixed, and I think that's really like the only play that we have, unfortunately. And if you got influencers that are actually honest about that product, you could save some people some money. I mean, just with my smaller YouTube channel alone, I think with Modern Warfare Deuce, I've had at least between 50 to 100 people thank me because of my videos. They chose not to buy the game. I mean, you think about that for a second, just 100 people just from my channel alone at $70 a pop. That is $7,000 less sales for Activision just on Modern Warfare Deuce, you know? And then I had a similar amount of people for Vanguard too that thanked me for saving them money because my videos helped them to decide not to buy the game. I think being out here on YouTube and complaining about the shit that's broken and complaining about what's wrong and trying to stand up for what's right and shit, I think that's really the only play we have at this juncture if you want to see Call of Duty get back to the greatness that it was in the past, man. I don't know if a boycott would work, but I want to hear what you guys think in the comment section. What do you think is the best play that we have as a community? If you care about Call of Duty still at all, if you want to see it get back to the excellence that was achieved back in the day, the reason why you fell in love with the franchise at all, what do you think is the best play we have as a community? How can we make the most noise to try to wake these motherfuckers the fuck up and say, look, man, this is what is needed here for this franchise. If you want any success, if you want to stop killing your game, this is what you need to do. Because straight up right now, Call of Duty is in rough shape, man. It is down bad right now. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm out.